The following story you're about to hear is 100% true. By the way, it's Big Mike, guys. In 2003, my father went into kidney failure. It was a horrible, horrible thing. He spent 10 days in the hospital, ended up having to go on dialysis, and through the good grace of God above and the sacrifice of a grieving family, my dad got a kidney transplant almost 5 years ago now. January 6th will be the 5-year anniversary of my dad getting a kidney. With that in mind, I'm going to be telling this story. When he first went into the hospital, he was in there for 10 days, and he was bedridden mostly the whole time. It wasn't until about a week after he got in that they started letting him walk around. And I found this something very interesting, which is when you're bedridden for a long period of time, you tend to get a little bound up, if you gather what I'm saying. Well, my dad got sent home, and I found this out after the fact, and trust me, I'm psychologically scared because of this. So my dad was all bound up, and one day he tells me he has to go to the doctor real quick, asks me to ride along. I say, sure, I'll ride with you to the hospital, no big deal. To the doctor, I mean. In fact, I drove him, because I wasn't really supposed to be driving at that point. It's been about 2 weeks since he got out of the hospital. And he walks up to his doctor, and he immediately says, I'm really constipated, it really hurts. And I'm like, TMI. Don't want to hear that. The scary, bad things. And, the doctor hands him in a box what says Fleet Self-Applicating Enema. It's spelled like this. If you've ever been to a little corner store or whatever, you see these things all the time. It's the first time I'd ever laid my eyes on one. My dad very nicely asked me to check the box to see what the instructions were, to see what was going on. I open it up, and it seems pretty straightforward. I mean, the directions are pretty much A, get naked, B, by a toilet, C, administer, D, wait till you have to go, and then do so. So, like, the next page, and you can actually go check right now if you want to, and go see what these look like. It has a whole bunch of pictures and suggested positions to put yourself in to administer said enema, and it really looks like it's time for dummies. It's a lot of really kind of scary looking stuff, and it caused me a little bit of a giggle, and then I was kind of mortified. My dad was going to be doing this to himself, and I hand him the box, I hand him the instructions, I hand him the stuff, and I'm like, go! And I'm trying to put this from my mind that my dad's giving himself an enema, but it was medically necessary, so everything's good, everything's going to be dandy, and everything's going to be fine, and bullshit. So my dad goes upstairs, and about a minute and a half later, as I'm sitting there trying to take a pipe cleaner to my brain to make that image go out of my head, my dad says some words that will, for the rest of my life, scare me. Mike, please come up here. So, I waddle myself up a flight of stairs, go right into the bathroom where my dad is naked as all get out, and he goes, help me. And I'm like, no! I don't want to do that. It's bad. It's scary. I'm pretty sure it violates certain things, and there might be laws involved. I don't know the ramifications, but it's pretty bad. So my dad goes, please, I kind of don't want to mess this up, and I'm like, you're pretty not hard to do. You grab the bottle, shove it, kind of squeeze, and then you have to poo, and then we're all good. So I do it. I helped, and trust me, this is probably the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me, but whatever. So, forget, just, gross. And, I immediately wash my hands and I go downstairs. I grab a cigarette, light up, because I don't know about you, but I read a rule somewhere, sometime, that says if you anally violate your father with a water bottle, that you need to have a cigarette right afterward. I'm not one to break rules. That's just the kind of guy I am. And about, I want to say about a minute and a half, 2 minutes later, I hadn't even finished my cigarette, I hear my parents' bedroom door open, and this tells me that my mother has woken up, and this is where it gets kind of fun. I hear her walk across my upstairs. All of a sudden I hear the bathroom door open, which clues me in that Dad hasn't locked the door. I hear my mom scream, "Ah!" I hear my dad go, "Ah!" I'm like, he thinks something is amiss. So I walk up the stairs, and my mom's walking down the stairs, and she's a little flushed, a little embarrassed, whatever. She didn't go through what I went through. But she goes, "Tell your father to lock the door." And this now becomes my intention. I'm going to open the door and be the good Samaritan, good son. And I'm going to say, "Dad, make sure you lock the door, especially when you're sitting all naked on the toilet," and whatever. I open the door, and Dad goes, "Ah!" And I go, "Ah!" because I'm scared. And there he is, and he's in all his, natural glory. Hair all over the place, like he just lit the, power outlet or whatever. He goes, "You're going to have to take me to the hospital. This is tearing me apart." I go, "Stop." He goes, "I can't." Like he's Richard Gere, an officer and a gentleman. I've got nowhere else to go. And I go, "Well, then finish. I'm not taking you to the hospital. I'm pooping. It's gross." Went downstairs and tried to give myself a concussion to make the pain go away, beat my head off the wall, whatever. And 10 minutes later, my dad comes downstairs. He's clothed. Thank you. And I'm all sweaty and stuff. And I'm like, "So, we still going to the hospital?" He goes, "No, I feel so much better now. Let's go get something to eat." I'm like, "Yeah, let's go, buddy." So, the moral of the story is, if your father goes to give himself an enema and says, "Hey, could you come help me?" Move out!